video we're going to look at perhaps one of the most important aspects of hitting the golf ball further, and that's strike location on the club face. It's one of the most overlooked elements we see in club golfers around the country when they're looking at their driver, when they're trying to hit the ball further. This is a part of the game that people pay very little attention to. It's something that's also, for most players, difficult to measure. So I'm going to show you a tip today which is going to help you understand where on the club face you're hitting the ball and how that relates to distance. So when we look at a driver face, we need to understand first of all that the centre of the club face, the sweet spot of the club face, is not actually in the geographical centre of the club. We'd like to hit the ball a little bit higher than the centre of the club, so I'm looking at a spot about 2/3 of the way at the club face, and understand that from a distance point of view, hitting the ball slightly higher on the club face and away from the heel of the club is how you're going to maximise your distance. There are several factors that influence distance in terms of your strike location, and it's important to understand that by hitting the golf ball a little higher up the club face and away from the heel of the golf club, we give ourselves the best opportunity to maximise distance. A couple of the key reasons for this: the golf club face isn't flat, it's slightly curved from heel to toe and from bottom to top. So if we hit the ball low on the club face, we'll get a much lower launch angle, the ball sets off a lot lower, robs of us of distance to begin with. But it also increases the spin rate on the golf ball dramatically, so a low launch, high spin combination is very poor for distance. If we hit the ball a little higher on the club face, being curved, there's a little bit more loft available to us there. We get a higher launch angle, and hitting the ball higher on the club face reduces the amount of backspin that we create. So we get a higher launch, a higher carry, less spin, more roll. So that's how we're going to maximise the yardage. In terms of how we measure this, well, a very simple tip for you. Go to your local supermarket and you buy yourself a can of this. Now this is dry shampoo, which is a dry powder spray which we simply spray on the club face. It leaves a white residue on the club face, as you can see, and that allows us, when we hit some shots, to see the impact location the golf ball makes across the club face. So if we hit one here for you, we get into our setup, we just make our normal driver swing. The first thing that we can see is that ideally for the longer yardage, I've hit that perhaps a little low on the club face, a little in towards the heel. Now as a ball flight, I see that go a little bit lower, I see it fade a little bit as a consequence of hitting out the heel. So let's try that again, let's hit one more. And see if we can use a slightly different part of the club. Now there I've hit the ball a fraction higher but more out towards the toe, so I get a heel strike which fades the ball, toe strike which slightly draws the ball. By working practice with some feedback from a powder spray like the dry shampoo, you're going to be able to see where on the club face you're hitting the ball, what kind of ball flights that those strikes produce. The higher you hit the ball on the club face, the less in the heel you hit the ball on the club face, the further the golf ball's going to get. Thanks for watching the How Did I Do Golf Academy. If you enjoy our videos, please share them amongst your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that way you'll get to see all our latest footage first. And for questions and comments, join our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter, HDiD Golf Academy. We look forward to seeing you next time.